Well, there you go, folks. It's Radio FM88 Australia, and you're coming through on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Google, Apple. And so without further ado, you can see the poster, you see the name, the guy's from Australia, and my co-host, of course, is in the UK. And it's a good morning for our co-host in the UK.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Dreaming the New Dream. And today it's the 24th of August, 2023, and the clock is moving fast over this side of the world, and the nights are starting to draw in. But anyway, without further ado, it's our great pleasure to welcome David Dawes, a long-time friend since I came to Australia. So welcome, David, and thank you so much for being our guest of the show this week.
My absolute pleasure, Andrena and Jeff. Thank you both so much for having me as a part of your wonderful show tonight. I'm very much looking forward to it. And it has been a long time.
It has, yeah. So I was trying to work out when I first came into contact with you, and I think it was about 2010, 2011. And I know I went to a flower reading party with some girls. I had no idea what, and they said, bring a flower. So I came along with my flower, and we had to put it in a bag, and we had to put a number on. And then you appeared, and you came, you gave off all these readings, which was amazing. So obviously you tuned into the person holding the energy of that flower. And I just thought it was great fun. And I know we had you round at the house further down the track. Yeah. But you've been on such an incredible journey, and you are a showman. You bring such fun and laughter to everybody, and your jokes and the antics that you get up to. I mean, sometimes I'm going to Cal, oh my God, let me read this, listen to this about David.
Thank you.
But honestly, I know you've got such a following, and I know you're well loved and well respected. So I'm thankful that you've taken the time to come on board, if you like. So,
darling, that's lovely. What a lovely intro. That's so kind.
And that I know you're in an old cottage, but that looks like you're sat on a high chair on a throne.
It's a throne. I'm a queen. It's a throne. I forgot to put the crown on.
Yeah.
I was looking at my picture on the screen. I thought, oh my God, it looks like I'm on King Charles's throne.
So true.
Oh, dear idea.
Anyway, so I got a feeling this show could be running over a bit, but that's not a problem. Because it's all about sharing, caring, networking, and sending out love and helping one another. So I know what you're doing is phenomenal. So let's start. Where did you start off your life when you hit planet Earth?
When I hit planet Earth, well, my goodness me. I arrived on planet Earth on Wednesday, the 20th of July, 1960 at 12:45 p.m. exactly. So there you go. You got all my deets. So my mother, I'm the eldest of four, and she remembers specifically the time that I was born. And I was born in Kiama in New South Wales, which is down on the far south coast, about 2 hours south of Sydney. And a beautiful little seaside village, or it used to be, but it's it's a lot bigger now. But it was a tiny little village when I was born. So that's where I kicked my beautiful physical incarnation off on this round.
Right. Okay. So just start with your steps in life that have brought you to where you are now. The highs and the lows, and sure. Whatever you'd like to share.
Thank you.
So was anybody in your family psychic in any way, shape or form?
No, they're psycho. I'm psychic.
That says it all.
I'm the only sane one. And I'm psychic. No, it's so funny. To answer your question, honey, I'm the eldest of four, and we are very, very close-knit. I'm from a very loving, close-knit family, which is great. Very sad we lost Dad exactly 3 years ago. He passed very suddenly at the age of 82. Mum is almost 85 and she's kicking along marvellously. And as I said, I'm the oldest of 4. Now, to pick up on your question about how this all started for me, I have no proof of this, but I'll walk you through something. And it's a common theme that I've discovered through the course of life when I've read autobiographies and stories about the psychics and mediums. When I was 6 years of age, I actually had quite a major accident at Mum and Dad's house, at our house that Mum and Dad has just built. I fell off the back veranda and landed headfirst on the footpath down below because they hadn't yet installed a little fence thing. And I landed on my head and I split my head right down the middle of the top.
Oh my God.
And they rushed me to hospital. I think I had 22 stitches. The doctor could not believe that I didn't fracture my skull, but I didn't. And when they went to take the stitches out, they could only find 17 stitches. So the joke today is that I'm still held together by 5 stitches because there's still 5 stitches in there somewhere. Now, do you know what? This is interesting because, I mean, I fully recovered. I've been fine ever since. Anyway, it was not until, when I was in my late childhood, I guess around my early teens, I used to feel things and know things and see things about people, not to any major extent. I didn't have, people annoying me in my sleep, like, dead people coming to talk to me. It was nothing like that. It was just a feeling of knowing. Now, my parents were very big entertainers when we were kids. So we always had a house filled with, dinner parties and barbecues on the weekend. My family were very, very big into sports back then. So it was fantastic. It was party time. Now, I used to love people would come over and I'd say to Mum, I was, a young kid, Mum, tell that friend of yours that she's going to have a baby girl because I can see she's got red hair and freckles and she's holding her. And Mum said, don't be ridiculous. She's not even pregnant. I said, well, Mum, she will be. I just know she will be. And she, nonsense. She used to brush it all off. Well, you know what? As time went on, almost everything I would say to Mum and Dad inevitably would come to pass. And it frightened them. It frightened the bejesus out of them because they didn't know. We lived in a little country town in New South Wales and Mum said, who's telling you this stuff? How do you know this stuff? I said, Mum, I don't know. And see, when you're a kid, guys, when you're a kid, you think, well, if I can see it, feel it, touch it, if I can see it, why can't you see it? It's like, so there's a blue car across the road. What do you mean you can't see a blue car? Like you can see things that you think others can see, but no, they don't. So I trundled along that for, through my teens, didn't do much with it. And then when I was 20 years of age, we packed up from our little country town and Dad got transferred up to Sydney, up to the city with his job. And we commenced a whole new chapter of our life. Now, this was back in 1980. And remember those halcyon days, guys, when there was no such thing as the internet, no such thing as mobile phones. We lived in a world of books. Everything was just books. And if you wanted to learn about something, well, you go and join a group or find out about, go and join an arts group or a psychic group or go to a spiritual church, all those sorts of things. And I can remember back when I was 20 years of age, and I can remember saying to people, can I please read your hand? Can I have your hand, please? And I'm not a palmist, like I don't read palms, but can I just hold your hand? I'd hold their hand, close my eyes, and I would elicit a sense of guidance from the universe through that. And I used to channel through these little messages and I'd read their hand, even though I'd never been trained in palmistry, but I got the story out and I called it my spark plugs. And that's what sort of churned it over for me. And suddenly I had a ravenous appetite for wanting to know more about what I call the work. And then every now and again, I'd say, oh, can I have your hand? I'll do your little reading. It was nothing major. It was nothing. But word got out that this young guy was doing these little hand readings, and a couple of people would ring me on occasion and ask me to come and have a hand reading, which I did at my house. And one day in particular, a lady called me up and she asked to come and see me for one of my little hand readings. And she came along, and little did I realize, I remember asking the universe, God, Jehovah, Buddha, whoever it was, oh, please send me a guide, send me a mentor, send me somebody who can teach me this work. I want to know more about this work because I was so thirsty for more knowledge, but didn't know where to source it in a huge city like Sydney. And this lady came and knocked on my door one Thursday night. And I'd been hopefully expecting somebody to turn up looking like Dumbledore out of Harry Potter, like a wizard, a wise wizard, with the scrolls of knowledge and wisdom and the robes and the long beard and all that sort of thing. And I was waiting for my, spiritual teacher to turn up. Well, my teacher turned up this Thursday night, not knowing it was my teacher, I might add. And when I answered the door, oh my Lord, I opened the door and there she was. Her name was Denise. And Denise was standing there. She had hair pulled back in a bun. She was a quintessential Ochre Aussie lady from the western suburbs of Sydney who had three loves in life. She loved spirituality, Winfield Blue cigarettes and Tic Tacs. And she had a Winnie Blue at the corner of the mouth and peppermint Tic Tac here. And she's chinking away. And I said, oh, hello. She said, oh, hi, love. She said, I'm here to see you for the reading, a little hand reading. And I said, oh, okay, do come in, do come in. So I ushered her into my little reading room, conducted the reading, did the little hand reading for her. And that was fine. I didn't know who she was. And I said, do you have any questions? Oh, she said, no, love, I don't, but I've got one for you. And I said, oh, what's that? She said, love, who's that bloke standing beside you there? He's been giving you all your messages. I went, what? What are you talking about? Oh, love, I forgot to tell you. She said, I'm a medium. I said, oh, my God. I said, I've never met a medium before. Wow. She said, oh, yeah, love. She said, well, he's been giving me a lot of messages about you. And she said, let me tell you. She said, the stuff you told me about me was amazing. So she said, you've really got a gift there, but I've got something to tell you that he's told me. And I said, what? This is what it didn't make any sense on the night. She said, love, he's telling me to tell you that one day you will read flowers for thousands of people. I said, that is so cool. Who is your drug dealer? You know, wow. And she said, love, I'm telling you. And I said, what? And then she said to me, this is what really got me. She said, look, do you mind if we go out to your veranda, love? Because I need to have a cigarette and I've got more to tell you. I said, oh, wow, okay. So we went out to my veranda. She lights up the Winnie Blue and she's puffing away. This will kill you. And she goes, she's barking her lungs out. And she said to me, she said, oh, you know what? I reckon you should come to my house next Tuesday night. And I said, why is that? And she goes, I run a healing group. She runs a healing group and she smoked like a bushfire in a hot westerly. Oh my God. And she's puffing away. And I thought, what? I was looking around for the hidden camera, but I thought, well, I'll go over and see what this crazy lady's about. And she said, I teach people how to do readings and flower readings. We do some healing. There was never a G on the end of the words. That was always short. And it was just beautiful. She was gorgeous. And I went over to her house the following Tuesday. And a group of people sitting in the room all had flowers in bags, and we all had to choose a bag. And I said, what do I have to do? Oh, love, she said, just pull the flower out of the bag and look at it, focus on it, hold up your third eye, and it'll give you messages, it'll tell you things. And I said, oh, okay. Then, of course, I did all this. And she said, you'll get messages. She said, it'll talk to you. Well, it never said a bloody word to me. I got nothing. And I said, honey, I'm sorry. I said, look, thanks anyway. I didn't get any messages. And I said, but look, it's been lovely to meet you. And thank you for inviting me. And she said, well, love, I'll see you next Tuesday. And I said, why? She said, well, love, I'd like to be your mentor. If you're interested, I can teach you. OMG, that lady, her house every Tuesday night for about the next 2.5 years became my church. What she taught me back in those wonderful days was phenomenal. All jokes aside, I mean, unfortunately, she wasn't the healthiest lady. She died at the age of 61, I think, from the Winnie Blues. I think they got to her. But my God, she was a trance medium, and she taught us, our little group, so very much. And there are those days. Now, that brings me to the point, and I'll let you ask another question in a tick. I was only a couple of weeks after I met her. She asked me to pop in and have a coffee with her. She said, oh, come round. Come and have a coffee, love. So I'm sitting there in her kitchen having a coffee. You'll never believe what she said. We're sitting there and she's got the Winnie Blue happening and she's drinking the coffee and she's sort of looking at me curiously like this. I said, is everything all right? She said, love, it is, but can I ask you something? Not something, it was something. Can I ask you something? And I said, what's that? She said, your head's all buggered. And I said, what? She said, your head's all buggered. You buggered your head up. I said, I don't know what you're talking about. She said, well, I'm looking at you, love. I'm looking at you, and all your energy's buggered at the top. What have you done to your head? I said, I've done nothing. And she said, well, you better think about it because something's wrong. You're okay, but it's not all there. And I said, oh, my God. I said, I remember maybe when I was 6 years of age. And she said, what happened? And I told her the story about falling off the veranda, splitting my head open. And she said, sweetheart, little do you realize that was the day you cracked your crown chakra open. And there's your connection. There's your divine connection to the universe. And I have since read biographies over the years where a lot of psychics, mediums, not all of them, but a lot of them suffered head trauma. And after the head trauma, it opened up their third eye. Yeah. Wow.
Incredible.
That was a long answer to your question.
I forgot what my question was now.
Tell us a little bit about your journey. Then don't dare ask another question.
Oh well, I knew it'd be entertaining. So, because if I think about some of this, or I don't know, there's so many stories. I mean, obviously the one that jumps to mind is like when you used to live down Surfers Paradise and you had your lovely abode down there, and then now you've suddenly gone to Tasmania, and how you packed up everything. So how about sharing how that all came about? Because I know you had a lovely spot down on Surfers there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, this comes into a little bit from the spiritual, psychic side of things, more or less into the energy of working with the universe and the law of attraction, because this has all come to me, in the last 15, 20 years, like understanding much about how this beautiful work works. The picture that Jeff has just put up on the screen, that was my beautiful apartment right in Surfers Paradise, 2 blocks back from one of the world's most famous beaches. That was very, very lovely. And that was the dining room looking out onto all the buildings down in Broadbeach. Now, I'll tell you a little bit of a backstory before we get into the apartment. I'm 63 years of age now. When I was 49, I went through the horrors of hell, as a lot of people do. I call it my dark night of the soul, and I lost absolutely everything, to my name. And I remember one day I looked into my wallet and I had $49 left in my wallet. At the age of 49, I had no car, no home, everything had been lost. I had been married for 20 years to a beautiful lady. Our married life came to an end and we settled very amicably, and her and I, thankfully, are tremendous friends to this day. We have a beautiful daughter who's now married with a beautiful family of her own, and the girls live in Sydney. So that's an aside. But for me personally, I just crashed, crumbled, lost everything. Thankfully, this all happened after the divorce. So after the divorce was settled, it wasn't the divorce that caused me to go through this. I got caught up in the GFC, some really bad investments, and everything was, I lost everything, the car, the home, the money, everything. I was left with the clothes on my back. And I can remember thinking, my God, this is it. I've got nothing. There's nothing I can do now. And I remember one Monday morning, a friend of mine down in Currumbin, her name was Diana. We'd befriended each other, and I just broke down one day and told her what had happened to me. She said, "Oh my God, where are you going to live?" I said, "I've got no idea, honey. I've given up." She said, "Well, I want you to come. I've got a spare room in my lovely apartment down near Currumbin Beach. You'll come and stay with me for as long as you need to." Long story short, I was with Diana for just exactly 1 year, but in that, just not long after I moved in with her, I remember walking over to Currumbin Beach one Monday morning, a stunning day. The water was like a sheet of glass, blue sky, sunshine. It was just like a postcard day. And I walked right up to the end of the beach where there was nobody, and I lied down there and I bawled my eyes out. I cried and cried, and I just surrendered. I said to the universe, "I've had enough. This is it. I just can't cope with this anymore. You better throw me a bone. You better throw me something." I didn't know what it would be because I lost my business that I had back then. When I say didn't want, I thought, well, I'm unemployable because I've been self-employed for so many years and my business had gone. So I just didn't know what I was going to do. I was spiraling. So basically, Diana, my lovely friend, she hosted a flower party for me because she said, "Sweetheart, well, I just need to try and get you back up on your feet somehow. And if we have a little flower party, it'll give you a little bit of cash to start yourself off." And I said, "Oh, okay then," begrudgingly. And I jokingly said to her, I said, "Honey, that's very nice of you, but I said, I think the bank has repossessed that gift as well. Everything else is gone. I don't think I'm psychic. I haven't done flower readings for a long time." Anyway, long story short, she hosted a little flower party for me. I think it was 2010. She hosted a flower party one Thursday night. And after that flower party, I think 3 ladies asked for my card, and they booked a little flower party for me. And can you believe I did not stop working from that night? Now, when I say that, I don't mean that I was booked out every single night. I was not. But that's what started my journey reading flowers in groups of people. And that's because the universe came to me that day. And I forgot to tell you, when I was crying my eyes out, they showed me an image of a birthday candle in my mind with a flame on it. And the message came through and said, "Keep your eye on the flame. It's going to turn into a bushfire." And I had no idea what that meant. But obviously, that's what they were sort of alluding to, and I didn't realise. I thought, well, look, I'll read a few flowers and do a few parties until I figure out what I want to do, what I need to do. And you know what? Little did I realize I was aligned with my calling. This is my dharma, and my life mission is to do the beautiful work. And oh my lordy, that was what 14, yeah, almost 13, 14 years ago. And I know I don't keep track of the numbers of readings that I do, but my office have a bit of an idea. And I can remember it might have been about 6 months ago. Tracy said, "I think you've surpassed your 20,000th flower reading in all those years." So,
oh my God.
Yeah, so it's a lot. I think
Incredible.
I can safely say I've read more flowers than any person on planet Earth. But what a beautiful. It's and please, guys, don't think this is some high. I'm not trumpeting myself as being this, fantastic person. Everyone's got a gift and a talent, and it's just that flower reading, which is based on the art of psychometry. It's not. Lots of people read flowers, but there aren't many people in the world that read them for a full-time living like I have been doing up to this point. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I like obviously. We'll be going backwards and forwards because yeah. So anyway, carry on because
sorry. Yeah. I still haven't got to the point. Anyway, long story. That's right. So then after that, I was with Diana for a year, and then I went. I rented, and you know what? Here's guys, you've got to listen to this. I love this. Law of attraction is crazy because I remember thinking, now I have to do a vision board for myself. I do a vision board for myself, and I went down with my last few bucks. I purchased two big cardboard sheets and cut out images and pictures of places and things and what have you. And I can remember getting an American magazine and cutting out a picture of a penthouse, and it had the word penthouse, and it had a white leather lounge. It had a little veranda that overlooked a canal and the beach. And on the floor were Versace mats and a beautiful big mirror on the wall. And it just looked, and I thought, oh my God, that's my dream place. So I cut that picture out and put it in the top left-hand corner of my vision board. And there are other things dotted on there. I love classic cars. So there's some classic cars there, and that was all dotted around. And I had that up on my wall, I guess, for about 2 years. And then I took it down, put it into storage because I didn't have much room. And I had a little storage cabinet, and I put it in storage. And to be honest, I forgot what was on the vision board. And I'm going to cut a very long story short because I don't want to waffle on for too long, but it is such an amazing story. And you know what? One thing that I kept saying to the universe, I have to act rich and think rich to attract that I so desire. And I don't mean that from a materialistic point of view. I just mean it from the point of view that I wanted to get out of where I was. And I thought, I've got to think my way and feel my way. That's a more important word, is feel, and have a vision. Anyway, so that was all fine. Now and guess what? I found a beautiful little Balinese grand, what do you call them? A granny flat. I couldn't get the word out. A little granny flat, and guess what? It was a granny flat in a multi-million-dollar waterside mansion. So I said to the universe, I want to act and think rich. Well, they said, well, there you go. And it was so funny because when these people had just put the granny flat up on rentals, and I was the first person to apply. And when I went around, they were both lawyers, and they had new Mercs and everything in the driveway, and I had an old banged up Falcon that had more hits than Elvis and Madonna combined, and it ran on gas masks and good wishes. And I said, and anyway, I they were the loveliest couple, and they said, come in. Anyway, long story short, I said, yes, I'll rent the flat, and it was $250 a week. They said, we'd love to have you. And when they came out, they walked me out to my car, and of course all their new Mercs are there and the old Falcons there. Oh my God, I called her Betty Ford. That was Betty Ford. And anyway, right, yeah. And I said, look, thank you for accepting my application. I said, that's great. But I said, look, I'll park the car around the corner so it doesn't devalue your home too much. So they laughed. And I lived there. I was with Karen and Greg for 4 years. And one day, I can tell you dates, times. I've got an amazing memory for dates, times, places, phone numbers, number, everything. I'm partial savant. And many people, I won't go into it, but I've got a little bit of savant in me. So I have this incredible ability to be able to tune into things. Everything is a snapshot. I just remember dates, times, even 30, 40, 50 years ago. Crazy. Anyway, on the 30th September 2014, it was a Tuesday, and it was, I think it was about 2:30 in the afternoon. And this lady came to see me for reading. Long story short, she came to see me, and she said, I don't know why I'm here, but my friend said I had to be here. I said, well, honey, do you want a reading or not? She said, well, not really, but let's have a chat. Long story short, we had a fabulous chat, and she said, I really love your company. She said, how about you come over to my place for lunch? I'd love to have you over for lunch. I said, oh, that'd be fantastic. Her name was Vicky. So about a month later, went over to her place in Surfers Paradise, and she opened up, invited me into her beautiful apartment. I was blown away. And long story short, she said, I told her what had happened in my life, how I'd lost everything. And now this lady was a very, very wealthy lady. She owned properties everywhere. She was single, and she was a bit of a property investor, and that's where she made all the money. When I told her my story, she said, well, where would you like to live? David, just dream for a minute. Where would you like to live? And I said, oh, I'd like a nice apartment and blah, blah, blah. She said, whereabouts and what type of apartment? And I sat there and I looked around. I said, honey, do you know what, to be honest, this is beautiful where you're living. This is stunning. I'd love something just like this. She said, well, you can have it. I said, well, isn't that lovely? Thank you, darling. That's lovely. I'd love it too. But I said, I haven't got 2 bob to my name. I said, no way. Oh, she said, don't worry about that. I said, really? And she said, no. She said, yeah. I said, honey, well, unlike you, I said, I need the bank. The bank will laugh at me. I said, up until I lost everything, I had a AAA credit rating with the bank until the GFC hit, and I lost everything. Because prior to this life, I had a very, very successful life, and Lisa, my ex-wife, and I travel the world, and we had we had beautiful new Mercedes cars, new homes in Sydney, had it all, but lost it all as well. So I was accustomed to having nice things in life and having a good life. And Vicky said to me, and I'll never forget, she picks up the serviette, she goes, hang on a minute, and she dotted her mouth, and she said, let's pour the bubbles, and she pulls over this whiteboard. She said, just give me some idea about figures, what you earn and how much you pay in tax, blah, 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 blah. Went through all that. And she said, let me just work out how much it would cost for you to live here. And I said, oh, well, this is a fruitless exercise. So we went through the whole exercise, fruitless, but I thought, just go through it. Completely, no, whatever. And at the end of it, she went, brr, 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 and she turned the calculator around and pushed it to me. She said, see that? That's how much it's going to cost you to live here a week. And I said, well, honey, yeah. And she said, it's a little bit more than what you're paying now. I said, yeah, it is. And she said, but you know what? She said, why don't you take a leap of faith and do it? And I said, but Vicky, the bank is going to laugh at me. I've got some money saved up, but I don't have enough for a deposit on your place. And oh my God, you'll never believe what happened then. She leant forward. She said, sweetheart, you don't need the bank. I will be your bank. I said, what do you mean you'll be my bank? She said, I will provide vendor finance for you, and I'll only charge you 0.5% more than what the bank's charging. And you can move in next week and we'll do a rent buyback agreement. And I said, are you serious? Are you serious? She said, sweetheart, if you want, and she said, and if you want it furnished exactly as it is, you can purchase it fully furnished. We'll work out a special price for you. Tag that on. And I said, but Vicky, where are you going to live? And she said, sweetie, I own 5 apartments in this building. I'll just move into another one and renovate it. And do you know what? I burst into tears. I just burst into tears. She come up behind me, put her arm around me. We popped the champagne again, and that's when the magic moment happened. It was just on sunset. I took a photo. I said, can I please take a photo of my lovely new apartment? She said, yes, you can. And I blasted it out on Facebook. Oh, my freaking God, guess what? I wish I had the picture to show you. Look at the apartment here. You can see the picture. White leather lounge, Versace mats on the floor, and you can't see it in the picture, but just behind the lounge, there's a little veranda that overlooks the canal and the beach, exactly like I had. It looks exactly almost identical to the picture I had on my vision board. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And to add even more magic to it, and she said, David, I'll give you 2 weeks to cooling off period to think about it. I said, honey, can you make it 2 minutes? So she said, are you sure? I said, honey, you don't. And she picked up her phone and she said, are you sure? Are you sure? I said, I'm sure. I'm taking this. And she said, can you just excuse me one tick? I said, sure. She picks up the phone and said, hi, it's me. She said, look, I've just sold 811 to a friend of mine. So she said, can you get the team ready and we'll do 1312. Okay. Yep. All right. Well, I'll talk to you on Monday. Okay, darling. Thanks. Bye. And she hung up. She said, that's my renovation team. I've just called them. We're now ready to hit the next one. We're going to rock and roll, baby. And you know what she said to me, guys, and to our beautiful viewers and listeners out there that are tuning in, I want you to take this aboard, because you know what? She said to me something I'll never forget. She said, David, you jumped. You jumped. You've taken a risk and you've jumped. You've jumped into the abyss of the unknown, and you've jumped into faith and trust. And you know what? She said, I have a feeling that somehow you will come to a point of being able to, you know, to buy this one day, or to, you know, some magic will happen. Blow me down. 12 months to the month, not to the day. 12 months later, I received a massive unexpected financial windfall, and I bought her out. Unbelievable.
Fantastic.
You got to have the faith and trust, guys, because you know what? It's you know, we live in a world of security. As oh God, but yeah, and don't get me wrong. I'm not inferring that people have to be foolish and stupid. It's easy for me because I live on my own. I understand when people have got families, responsibilities. It's not an easy thing to do, and I've been there. I've had families and responsibilities, but you know, that time I just had this. See, my connection is like just the whisper. I call it the whisper. Just jump, just jump, just jump. And I jumped. And as soon as I did, and you know what? Oh my God, 16th of April, 2015, I moved in. You will not believe what happened. This is so cool. It was, I picked up the keys on the Saturday morning from Vicky. She said, oh my God, I'm so happy. She said, let me know when you're settled in and we'll come and have a bubbles and celebrate with you. And I had a show on that afternoon. And when I finished the show, I had my keys and I raced back to my little flat over it. So I went from $1 million mansion into this one, and I put a few things into the car, raced around. I had a bottle of bubbles and one empty glass, because I was on my own. Oh, you won't believe what happened. I was so excited. I put the key in the door, and it was at 6 o'clock on the dot. When I opened up the door and walked in, all of a sudden, outside the lounge room window, there's just all these firecrackers went off. It turned out that across the road on the beach, there was a massive big celebration for something. But it was at the moment I put the key in the door and opened it, it's like the universe said, he's got the key in the door. Now, 3, 2, 1, now. And I swear to God, guys, I sat there, the tears are rolling down my cheek, and I popped the bubbles and toasted myself and watching all these fireworks. And it was almost like the universe was saying, welcome home, just welcome home.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic.
So, now, to
so
answer
how long were you in?
Oh, yep, I was just about to get
which
yep.
was?
I was eight years there. 8 years.
8? Really? Gosh.
I was there for 8 years. I moved in April 2015, and I moved out in April 2023. So I was there for almost exactly 8 years, almost to the day. And I decided, unfortunately, as time has gone, I love the apartment. It's beautiful, but unfortunately, the Queensland heat has taken its toll on me. As I've got older, I don't cope with humidity very well. And I don't know whether it's me or whether it's the truth, but I just feel that the humidity is getting stronger or longer, and it just wipes me out. I'm no good with humidity. Yeah. I like summertime and I love the heat, but I just can't do humidity. So I decided that I'd sell up and move. Well, my God, this is crazy. I thought, well, I'll test the water and see how we go, because the market's quite volatile at the moment. Well, my God, I put my apartment on the market on the Monday. It sold in 4 days. And the fellow who purchased it, he was only the second fellow that had come through. It sold in 4 days. And the real estate agent called me up and she said, you won't believe this, but the lovely elderly man that wants to buy your apartment wants everything in it, down to the last knife, fork, teaspoon. He wants all the cutlery, plates, crockery, all the pots, pan, everything, tea towels, everything. Just leave it, all the sheets, linen, just leave everything. All you need to take is your personal belongings. And I left that apartment with all my personal belongings in my car. How many people drive away from an abode that they've owned with all they've got is what's in their car? And you know, guys, I have to tell you, I have never felt so free, so light, so, oh my God. And the craziest part of this part of the story is the fact that I had nowhere to live. I had nothing planned. I didn't know where I was going to end up. Everyone said I was nuts. Everyone said I was crazy. And they said, where are you going to live? I said, I don't know. I said, you know what? Wherever I go, I'm just going to rent for maybe 12 months or so, get a feel for the place. I'm not just going to jump in and buy something straight away. I'll just get a feel for it. Now, and everyone said, David, the rental market is nuts. The rents are through the roof. There's 100 people applying for each property. My God, how could you do it? I said, well, you live in the world of fear. I live in the world of manifestation and belief. And you know what? I've handed it over to the big man upstairs. I'll be guided to where I need to go next. And I call it free falling. I was free falling. I thought I'm going to free fall for whether it's a few days or a few weeks, or I'm just going to free fall. Might couch surf. I don't know. I left the Gold Coast, and I remember looking at the rear vision mirror as I drove down Tuesday afternoon after settlement, and looked in the rear vision mirror. And I thought, well, there, goodbye Gold Coast. What a wonderful memory you've been. I lived there for 16 years in total, and I was driving off into oblivion. I was driving off into the great unknown. I drove down to my mother's place down at Nambucca Heads near Coffs Harbour, around about 3.5 hours south of the Gold Coast. And I got to Mum's place. You know, she obviously knew I was coming, and she said, son, where on earth are you going to live? What are you going to do? I said, Mum, I've got no idea. She said, you got rocks in your head. I said, everyone says that. And I said, you know, I'm half crazy anyway. She said, oh my God. She said, look, I'll tell you something. She said, if things are really tough, for God's sake, come and bunk up here. You can stay here for as long as you like. I said, you know what, darling, thank you so much. That's very kind of you, Mum. But you know what? I'll only be here for a few days and I'll be gone. But I said, because the universe has got something planned. I got there on the Tuesday afternoon. On the Wednesday, we took her down to the beach for a little lunch down there. My sister came up. We took her out for lunch. Thursday morning, I gets up early, made myself a coffee, sat down with my laptop and opened it up, and I thought, I'll start looking around for a property and see what's available. And I thought, well, I'll start in Tasmania. For those of you around the world who may not know where Tasmania is, I call it Australia's Little England. There we are. That's me, the little island down the bottom there. You can see it. So that's Tasmania. We call it our Little England or Little New Zealand, and it's sort of on a par with New Zealand. And it's a gorgeous part of the world. Now, I've been coming down here and in the top, to the top left-hand corner is where I live, in a little seaside village called, little town called Burnie. And so I'm sort of where the V is. I'm sort of halfway on up that V on the there we go. Anyway, there you are. Yeah, you're getting close to it now, Jeffro. That's great, mate. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's my place. You can see it from there. Because there's only 20 people live here. Anyway, so I gets onto the thing, and I've been coming down here for 10 years. I've got a lot of friends down here. So I have fallen in love with Tasmania, and Tasmania I've always playfully referred to as my second home. So it was no stretch for me to, come down here and settle. But I've only ever been down here in summertime. I've never been down here for a Tasmanian winter. And we've just come through. We're just on the edge of winter now, my lordy. It has been the mildest winter down here. It's been fantastic. But to come back to the story, I went on to realestate.com and I looked for properties between Launceston and Burnie to see what was available. Can you believe there were only 4 properties available? Only 4. I didn't stress. I thought, okay. And there was one property available, which was a gorgeous vintage cottage, an old cottage. And I clicked on that. I thought, oh my God, that's a piece of me. I love history. Even though I had a beautiful apartment, I just love old cottages. And when my ex-wife and I first got married, that was the first house we bought, was a very old vintage cottage with a little, rose garden out the front. It was gorgeous. Anyway, I applied for this property, and I was accepted to have a look. And I explained to the real estate. I said, look, I can't actually get down there for a viewing because I'm way up on the other side of the mainland, and it's too far to come. A 3 or 4 hour flight just to have a look through a house. Oh well, don't worry, we'll get the owners to do a little video call with you, and they'll walk you through. So we arranged that for the next day. And they came on screen, hi guys, and they walked me through this beautiful, beautiful home. And I thought, oh, well, they'll do this with everybody. And then Lynn and Titch, who are my landlords, they said, oh, David, there's this feature, there's that feature. Oh, and you will love this and you will love that. I said, what do you mean I will love? Are you telling me I've got the property? Oh, yes, this is yours. We've accepted your application. I said, guys, I'm blown away. I said, you've got such a gorgeous home. I would have imagined, I thought there'd be 100 people in the queue in front of me. And you won't believe what they said. There she is, Amelia's cottage. There it is. And they said to me, they said, well, look, we'll be honest with you. We've had the property on the market for about 5 weeks. We've had many applications for it. We've knocked them all back. I said, why? Why did you accept me? They said, well, we were after a mature age person, preferably single or maybe a couple, but we had not had any one of the criteria that we were looking for. We had families, and she said, we've got kids and we've got grandkids and we love kids, but they don't belong in this beautiful home. It's all furnished, fully furnished.
Oh my God.
With all antiques and vintage furniture, and they said, and don't worry, you won't need knives, forks, plates, spoons, cutlery. It's all supplied. It's all supplied. Now there's the hallway, and guess what? You won't believe this. Well, I'm sure your friends won't mind me mentioning that I'm a gay guy, right? And I've always joked that I like to live like a queen. Well, get a look at this place. I call this my little palace. And you ready for this? You can see what a beautiful home it is. But the owner said, it comes with some extras. I said, what are the extras? They said, you get a gardener and you have 2 house cleaners to come in each week.
That.
Yes, so I get cleaners. I haven't changed a bed in 4 months now. They said they will come in each week. They will change all the linen over and replace it. The gardener will come in once a fortnight through winter and once a week through summer to tend to the garden. There's a magnificent vegetable patch out the back with every vegetable you can think of. And they said when the vegetable season's out and about, just go out the back, open the door, help yourself to all the fresh veggies, and you won't have to go to the farmers markets.
Wow.
How is that just a manifestation of magic? And that's my bedroom there, the green. Yeah.
It looks a quaint old cottage, doesn't it? It's like it's good in time.
It's 123 years old, and it's and you ready for this? Being a gay guy, it's Princess Street. So I live in Princess Street, and it runs off Queen Street, and at the top of the street is Crown Street. So I live between the Queen and the Crown.
It could only happen to you, David.
Oh, darling, of course it can only happen to me. Everyone laughed. They said, oh, my God, trust you. I said, see, this is what happens. Even my mother was blown away. She said, how do you do it? How do you do it? I said, look, Mum, that's just what you do. That's how you do it. Yeah. So it's just extraordinary. So, my message, Andrena, and to you guys and to our beautiful listeners that are out there and our viewers, as we say, as Dame Edna used to say, hello viewers. So to all of you folks that are watching, my big message in all of this, in spite of all the rubbish that's going on in the world, and we are besieged with it, we understand this. We're in the midst of a spiritual war, and we know this. This is spiritual warfare. But at no stage should any of us take our eye off the ball and take our eye off the magic and not believe that the magic's out there and not believe that the magic can't step in and work for any single one of you. I am no more gifted, talented and skilled than any of you, and none. My ability to be able to tune into the universe and to be able to channel and do my messages does not mean that I have a special connection to God. I don't have a special direct line to him, nothing. I have worked and honed and polished my skills. I've been through the hard yards. I've been through the terrors, the horrors, as lots of us do. But I can always remember thinking to myself, in spite of what I've won and lost and got along the way, thank God I've always had my health. I've always had my health because, when you've got your health, you can rebuild your life at any stage of your life and do anything you want if you've got good health. So I have to be, that's what I say to people, be mindful of your thoughts and your actions and what you carry with you, because when you align with that you love to do and you're in alignment and in attunement with the universe, nothing and no one can stop you, and you will virtually never get sick in your life. I went to the doctor just recently just to get a referral because I've got a little bit of a dingy knee, and I just wanted to get it scanned to see, what was going on down there. And you've just got to get a referral to the doctor. Now this was down in Burnie. I don't have a doctor. I haven't had a doctor forever, but I had to go to one of those medical centres, and the doctor said, "Oh, if you don't mind me asking, can I just check your blood pressure? Stick you up in the hoist and give you a quick look over." I said, "Yeah." So he did that, and the first question he asked me, guys, he said, how old are you now? I said, I'm 63. And he said, what sort of medication are you on? And I said, what do you mean? For what? He said, what sort of medication are you on? I said, I'm not on medication. He said, you don't take any tablets of any sort? I said, no. He said, oh, okay. Oh, so well, good for you. He said, let me take your blood pressure. He took my blood pressure. It was 119/79. He nearly fell off the chair and he went, what? I said, what's wrong with my blood pressure? He said, nothing. He said, you've got the blood pressure of an 18-year-old boy. What the hell? He said, what do you do? I said, you wouldn't want to know what I do. And I told him what I did. And you know what he said to me? He said, okay, enough. He said, I don't know what you do. I don't want to know what you do. I don't understand what you do, but don't you dare change what you do, because he said, mate, I'm a doctor and I'm on blood pressure tablets. I said, well, mate, you need to come do some training with me.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's like being in alignment, isn't it? And I always say to people that with your health, you cannot go into a health shop and say, please, can I have £25 worth of health this week? You know?
That's right. I love that.
You just got to be so aware, like you say, of what you're doing, your thoughts, your feelings, because people have a choice. And, you know, when people moan and say, oh, and I said, yeah, but you have a choice, and that's what you're choosing. You need to choose differently.
Correct. That's exactly right. And do you know, I always bring in the word disease, because a lot of people, you know, everyone knows what the word disease is. But I often ask people, have you ever broken the word up? Dis-ease.
Yeah.
And they go, oh, okay. I said, because pay attention to what you're saying. Pay attention to your words. Pay attention to your activity. Pay attention to your thoughts. How do you feel? Because remember, when things are not in alignment, we are holding and carrying a dis-ease vibration in our being. And people aren't even aware of that. And they wonder why suddenly, boom, they get sick one day, because they've been carrying the pressure and the stress of life and situations in their body for so long, the body can't handle it anymore. Not realizing it all started with a dis-ease thought, vibration, words, and thinking. But the opposite to do you know what the opposite to dis-ease is?
Go on.
At ease.
What was that?
Dis-ease, at ease.
Oh, at ease, right.
Yeah. Dis-ease, at ease. I said, guys, when I go to bed every single night, before I close my eyes, I think to myself, I do a quick scan of the day. Who did I meet? Who did I work with online? Who did I train? Who did I meet down the street? And oh my gosh, that was in good terms. But if there's ever been a time where, and there has been, you know, where something didn't go right, or there's been a drama, I address that situation. I have to put that to bed before I go to bed. Because if I go to bed with that playing in my mind, that is where it all starts over the course of time.
Yeah. And that's it. It's, you know, like I do my gratitude when I get up and when I go to bed. And like you, I go through the day thinking, oh, you know, thank you for this and thank you for that and all these things. And like, you know, if there is a little something that's not right, it needs to be addressed, because this is where diseases come into play, isn't it? Because if you go to bed angry about something and you don't deal with it, and it goes on and on, then it festers. And it's like when people got high blood pressure and they take pills, you just need to see what's bubbling away within you that you're not dealing with, you know.
That's right.
It's simple when you know.
It is. And that's the thing, honey. And that's why, you know, I, like many people, I've educated myself over the years. I mean, it's true. I left school at 3 minutes past 15. I couldn't stand school. I had to get out of there. And I couldn't, but I just thought, this is ridiculous. Whatever they're teaching, algebra, it drove me nuts. 7 out of 3 people fail maths at school. I'm one of them. You know,
yeah,
so
ditto. It was never my favorite subject.
Yeah, so I thought, no. So I thought, I've just got to get out of school. And at the age of 16, and again, I left school on the 16th of March, 1976. I remember these times like yesterday. And I thought, well, I have no idea what I'm going to do. But, you know, I won't bore you with the details, but I started a job in the retail industry in a little country store. Little did I realize, but that job was just a job to get a job. And back in those days, jobs weren't that easy to come by, particularly in a country town. But do you know what was happening? Do you know what? I was in the retail industry for about 8 or 9 years, including for when I moved up to Sydney. But that was my training for people. I was getting my people training, how to deal with public, how to skill my communication skills and how to build those. But it's not until later on in life, you look over your shoulder retrospectively and you think, that's why I got that job. That's why I did this. And that's why I did that. You see, there's a pattern. You say, oh, yeah, I see.
When you look back.
Yeah, when you look back, and that's what gives me confidence for the future, because I think, you know what, there's a plan, and I'm going to make my dreams, build my vision boards, but you know what, universe, I'm handing it over to you. You surprise me with how it's going to come, and in what form, and when, and through whom, and I celebrate that when it comes. And like you, honey, every single day I'm so grateful. I express my gratitude, my thanks. Written form. Often I'll get in the car and put some really high vibe music on, and just, you know, I just like to feel good, because people often say to me, they ask me, they say, David, how do I know whether I'm in the vibration of attraction or you know, am I repelling? Am I attracting or repelling? I said, easy. I can sum it up in one word. How do you feel? Because how you feel dictates where your vibe's at. That's where it is. And Jeff's just thrown up a picture of my gorgeous new lady. She's 34 years old. I've only recently purchased her. You might have heard me say before that I love my classic cars. Well, I'm very fond of the very old Mercedes-Benz models, because they are some of the finest machines ever made. This particular one I purchased 4 months ago on my father's birthday. If he was alive, that would have been his birthday, and I wanted to pick it up on his birthday, which was fantastic. And that's a 1989 Mercedes 300 SE, but incredibly, it only has 82,000 original kilometres since new on it.
Wow.
It's virtually a brand new Mercedes, and I bought it off another Mercedes collector up in Sydney. And it's finished in almondine red with palomino leather. It is unmarked. It is like it's showroom brand new. It's unbelievable.
So, because I remember it was Betty was your old one that used to travel about in, wasn't it?
Betty Ford, yes,
Betty Ford, yeah.
Betty Ford, yeah, that's right. Yeah, she, oh my God, yeah, she. But you know what? She took me around New South Wales. I used to putter and bang around New South Wales in my early 50s, and I loved it because, as I said earlier, when Lisa and I were together, we had quite a successful life, and we always had used Mercedes cars then, but they were all leased through the company that we had. But you know what? They came and they went. The money came and the money went. Material things came and went. That was all wonderful. But, you know, that day that I bought that Falcon, I think I paid $1,800 for it, and I paid cash for it. And I drove away thinking, no one can take this off me because this is mine.
Sure.
There's no loans. There's nothing. And I didn't give a rat's what people thought of me driving the car. Not that anyone did. But I love classic cars, and since then I've had a number of classics. Jeff saw my beautiful old Cadillac, didn't you, mate?
I was just going to bring that subject up.
Yes, I had a beautiful old Elvis Cadillac that I had for not Elvis's Cadillac. God, I wish it was, but it was one of the Elvis era Cadillac with the big fins, the big long, and I know big long fins and nice and long. And I know Jeff saw it one night up at Cameron Lisa's place. I took it over there one night, but I only sold that maybe actually just before I moved down here. I sold that because I knew that things would be on the move, and that went to, would you believe, how's this for fate? The fellow that came to purchase my Cadillac, him and his wife came over. They didn't live far away from where I live. Lovely, lovely couple. And he kept saying to me, he said, I think I know you, and I don't know where I know you from. And I said, oh, God, mate, everyone says that with me on the Gold Coast. I said, are you involved in psychic work? He said, oh, God, no. He said, no, that doesn't ring a bell. And his wife didn't know me. He said, but I think I've seen you before. I said, what do you do for a living? And he said, I'm a cameraman with Channel 7, with the news team on the Gold Coast. So I said, oh, really? I said, oh, okay. He said, yeah, I'm a cameraman. And he said, I know you. I know exactly who you are. I said, oh, yeah, how's that? I won't bore you with the story, but when the Lismore floods hit at the beginning of last year, I started the Snag Army up, and I thought I'd pack a little barbecue and a carload of friends, and I'd go down to Lismore to help feed the flood victims who had been flooded out there. And oh my God, I put it up on Facebook and said, who'd like to bring a barbecue plate and cook some snags with me? It went viral. We had 2 coaches full of volunteers, 5 cars, 80 kilos of sausages, 60 loaves of bread. And it went so crazy, we ended up on television, and he filmed me at the TV interview.
Amazing.
That's what it was. And he said, you're the Snag Army guy. He said, oh, my God, David. He said, we talked about you for weeks at Channel 7. He said, we love your enthusiasm for life. And one of the reporters said, can we get that Snag bloke back? She said, he's just so much fun to be with. Can we organise? We could do something else with him. So,
yeah.
But that's what it was. That's
what is a snag?
Pardon me?
Sausage.
Oh, yes. I do apologise. Thanks, guys.
No, don't apologise.
Snag. I see. That's it. The Australian vernacular. So it's a sausage. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, it's a
oh, a
sausage.
snack.
Yeah,
Okay.
snacks. Yeah, 80,
Yeah.
80 kilos of sausages. We had 50 kilos of marinated chicken, 1,000 bottles of water, 800 cans of soft drink. Oh my God, it was just crazy. And
Yeah.
and we had enough food. We actually, in 2 days, we fed 1,000 people.
Wow. I know you and a lot of, I've got friends that went down as well with
Yeah.
all
Oh,
sorts
lots
of
did.
help. Yeah, and I've got friends that, got flooded out and what have you. So that was a horrendous time. So thank you for your participation in that.
Darling, you know what? I always say, I've got many favorite sayings, but another of my favorite sayings is, it takes many. I always say, I'm only a drop, but you know what? It takes many drops of water to make an ocean. And we all come together. It's a big ocean, on my own, I'm a little drop, but you know what? Let's bring it all together. And that's what creates the whole body of water. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Because I know there's been like a great divide on lots of different issues. And I say to people, but at the end of the day, if you had a fire next door, an emergency, where would you go? You'd go straight to your neighbors for help,
Yeah.
But anyway, we won't be down that road.
I know.
Yeah. So, right, where else would we like to go with this?
Vision
boards.
David, there's a backstory to that. There's a backstory with David there, because there's a woman in the Lismore Council who tried to stop them from coming back again.
Yeah, that's right.
Horrendous.
Yep. They tried to stop us, and because we were all set and ready, we had enough food to go down a second time, and the coach, everything was donated, guys. The 2 coaches with coach drivers, that each of them seated, I think, 47 or 57 people or something, with all the barbecues. That was all, and they were $2,500 a day to hire. Well, that was all provided to us by the bus company. They said, you can have as many buses and on as many days as you want. We'll support you. So that was a blowout. Now, we approached the council because we went down on the first, I think it was 3 days after the flood had subsided, and there was no one. There was just nothing. There was desolate. It was awful. And we set up in the Woolies car park in the main street. And unbelievably, where we set up in the Woolies car park in the main street, the water mark above where we were standing was 10 metres above us. So 4 or 5 days before where we were standing, we was 10 metres underwater. 10 metres. And that was crazy. So we contacted the council in good doing the right thing and said, look, we were down a few days ago. We've got another busload, got more food, blah, blah, blah. And, where would you like us? No, we don't want you here. No, we don't need you here. We said, why? No, it's all been fixed up. Somebody else is coming in to cater next Saturday. And I said, next Saturday? She said, yeah, we've got somebody coming next Saturday. I said, but what about the other 6 days of the week? No. She said, no, I'm sorry, we're not able to help you. So we were outraged. We had a little mini committee we'd set up. So we got onto another councillor. His name was Big Rob, who was part of Lismore Council. He was furious when we contacted him and told him what had happened. He said, well, if my council won't allow you into town, I'll put you into contact with the mayor of Coracai, which is another little town down the road from Lismore that had been wiped out. He's a good mate of mine. Give him a ring. He will welcome you guys with open arms. Now, in that ensuing week, we'd been contacted by CNN television in America because they picked our story up from the Channel 7 story, and CNN wanted to send a reporter down. Well, guess what? This got back to the Lismore Council, and they nearly shat themselves. It's just like, oh my God, CNN's coming. So they suddenly wanted us to come back and said, see you later.
Of course, yeah.
Nope, don't want you, nope. And we I can't think of the fellow's name who was the mayor of Coracai. My God, he was a lovely man. But we went down there. He had us set up outside the bowling club. And again, it was at Easter time, because we had Easter chocolates had been donated by hundreds of people. And so there was Easter eggs for the Easter bunny came, the Easter eggs came. One of our girls got dressed up as the Easter bunny. We had face painting for all the kids. Oh God, it was so much fun. And we just got back on the bus that day, and we just all hugged each other. It's like, what a beautiful thing to do for the community. And, it just feels so good to give back in some way. You know what? We all wish we had a magic wand. You could just wander and just feed everyone. We were driving down streets of houses that have been completely wiped out and flooded. People are still sitting there in their cars. They had nowhere to go. And we came across families, mum, dad, and kids who'd not been fed in 3 and 4 days. And the cars couldn't go anywhere because the cars were wrecked because of the floods, and they're just sitting there, and no one was there to rescue them. the most horrendous thing. So we were doing not shift work. We were doing relays, but back we had a main cooking station in the main street, and we'd load up all the food, put them in all the cars, and drive them all around the streets and feed as many locals as we could. And, you know, it's the best we could do. But as I said, and as you said, Andrena, luckily we weren't just the only ones. But there were other people there. But in those early times, there were very few and far between. So I think all up, we had enough food to feed 1,000 people, and we came back with not a crumb left on the bus. It was fantastic.
Oh, yeah. I take my hat off to you guys for, you know, and all the volunteers that did what they did, because, yeah, anyway.
I know, honey. I know.
And
you know, and
it's about communities and people coming together, isn't it? You know, it's just.
Oh, it is, honey. You know.
That's what it's all about.
Yep. I remember, I'm getting emotional now just thinking about it. When I came home that first night, I came home and I did a Facebook Live, and I'm in the middle of doing a Facebook Live to tell everyone, you know, what had happened and where we'd been. And I've never seen so much devastation in all my life. And I just burst into tears. And I thought coming home to enjoy something as simple as a cup of coffee and a hot shower and a nice comfy bed and a roof over my head is something that so many of these people don't have anymore. Something we take for granted every day. And yet it was just beautiful. Yeah, Jeff's going through some of those pictures now. Yeah. But Lismore's such a beautiful part of the world. But anyway.
Yeah,
but, you know,
I've been there, so.
Yep, that's it. You know, it just makes it just makes you so incredibly grateful.
Yeah. Anyway, so I wanted to ask you, how often do you do your vision boards? Because, like, for people that.
Good question. That is a super good question, honey. Really good question, because. To be honest, I'm actually in the process of now redoing my vision board, because the previous one that I had, I've ticked all the boxes on it. It's like, yep, done, got it, yep, boom, 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 ticked. So I'm in the process now. It was only 2 days ago, I was having a coffee with a girlfriend of mine down here, and we got talking about all this stuff. And I'm just about to launch a whole series of workshops on all of this stuff online, which is going to be super exciting. And on the spiritual development, as well as, you know, law of attraction, and creating all this stuff and how you can tune in. But I only said to her, I said, I've got to get my new vision board up and running. So in the next few days.
There he is. What's happening there? Yeah.
I don't know.
Helen.
That's bizarre.
Good job there. Yeah.
Can't hear you, David.
No. Hey, Dave. How are we going to do that? How do we get to Something's happened.
Can't hear you.
You just dropped off. Can you hear us? Dropped off? Nothing's working here.
He's been stopped in his tracks. Right. So...
I
wonder what that was bizarre. And getting a little tour of his cottage. It looks amazing, doesn't it? Really a beautiful old cottage.
How
bizarre is that? So.
I don't know if you can. What can you hear us, David? Just nod your head if you can hear us. Can you hear us, David?
David, can you hear us?
He's lost his audio.
Has he knocked a mute button on or anything?
No. Let's have a look.
Does he know about? Can he see the chat group?
I've sent him a private message.
Right.
Can
you hear me, David?
He dropped out and then he came back. Yeah.
I don't think he can hear us. So.
What about if he drops off and then comes back on again? He's got the code there.
That might be.
He's got microphone. He's turned his microphone on and off.
All right.
So David, log off and then come back on, mate. Ring. Get on the phone.
Right, are you going to ring him or shall I?
No, I'll ring him because you're from the UK.
Right.
Okay. Let's see if I got his phone.
Oh yeah, of course.
This is what happens when you go live. This is all part of life manifestation here.
What were you on? Vision boards.
Yeah. What are we visualizing now? David Laws. Let's see what we got here, David. Mm-hmm.
Hang on, he's written it down.
I'll call back. Yeah, okay.
We've never had this before. Oh dear, never a dull moment, eh? Oh.
Hey, you're going to log back on now?
Mate, what the hell? What's going on?
You dropped off. You went off and then you come back within 10 seconds. So you must have visioned something.
Oh my God. Mate, can we go back on?
Yeah, of course. You got the connection there. People can listen to you. I've got you on the mobile phone, so listen.
Yeah, don't swear.
I'll do it again.
Yeah.
I can't believe that. Oh, far out. Okay.
Yeah, I can hear Jeff and Andrena, but I can't hear David. Okay, that's comes
Right,
through.
okay. This must have been my reception dropped out. Far out. I'm so sorry, mate.
No, we're all good here.
Goodness me. Okay.
That's funny. I've just had a card drop off of my little sign over here.
Yeah.
Judy.
I thought,
Try
what's
this.
that? Okay.
Okay, there's no visual. And let's have a look. Has he got? Are you on there, mate? I've ticked you in, but there's no vision there. Maybe because the phone, you're talking to me on the phone. So I'll get off the phone, okay? Okay.
Oh dear, oh dear. Yeah, no, well, we were on vision boards, and for a lot of people, I've done vision boards over the years. I can't say I've ticked off everything, but some of the things I've ticked off. And what I was going to ask David was, like, how often does he do, for those of us that hadn't ticked off everyone, would he do a newer one? So that was going to be my question regarding vision boards. So,
Okay. And then Andrew Feasy was asking what's David's favourite flower of all things.
yeah.
There's a vision board. It's black. It's got,
Yeah, it's completely in the dark. Right.
Let's kick him out and then he can come back again.
Right, so
Yeah, mate.
Hi, mate. I could see and hear you clearly, but you couldn't see and hear me.
No, you're black as black.
I know, but I could see you and hear you like I was before.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Hello, guys. I can see and hear you, but because you were asking about the vision boards, but you obviously couldn't hear me.
yeah.
God almighty. Oh, far out.
Now we're getting all the smart comments coming through now.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I'm so sorry.
No. Everybody's. We're talking about vision boards. So, I mean, there's a story within a story here.
Well, the big story of the story, Jeff, is that the psychic didn't see this coming. Let me try it again, mate. Oh, my God. This is crazy.
Now, the thing is that you're on the phone and then you might have to come off the phone to be able to go back on. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Okay. Let me try that.
Okay. Switch off. Okay. Otherwise, what we can do is just have the phone and then you can just be audio.
Yeah. But well, we've done a good hour anyway of him sharing some of his stories. Oh dear. So I know that he's going to do workshops. He was sharing when I spoke to him yesterday that he's got different workshops where he's going to teach people how to tune in and psychic abilities and all sorts of that. So yeah, so that's going to be interesting. So yeah, right. Because I said to him yesterday, he said, I don't use Instagram. But anyway, hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep, you can hear me and see me.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I just said to Jeff, guys, I said, not even the psychic saw this coming.
No, we could hear you.
Everybody heard it. I had the phone
Oh,
come through. Yeah, so, I mean, the bottom line was you could have been doing it as an audio. It's okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic when you're live and you got the visual aspect to it.
Yeah. I don't know. I have no idea. It must have just had a glitch or the system's had a brain fart or something. I don't know, but I'm so sorry, guys.
No,
thanks for hanging with us.
It's not a problem. It's live and anything's possible. So don't worry about it.
That's true. That's right. Well, yeah, that's it. That's the drama when you do things live. It's the risk, I guess.
Yeah. And then,
okay.
It's real. There's no
Exactly.
airs and grace here.
That's
what
right.
You get.
Absolutely. I love it. Raw and real, uncut.
Exactly. Yeah. No rehearsals here.
No rehearsal,
right.
honey. Nope, that's right. A great metaphor for life, isn't it, Andrena?
Oh God, no.
Don't perfect it. Just jump in and do it, and it'll perfect itself through the course of time.
Yeah. Even if it doesn't make sense.
So
let's go back to your vision board, which went absolutely black and blank.
I think that was the universe saying this is what he's got on his board at the moment, nothing.
Yeah. So what I was going to ask is I've done vision boards and I've got one in the bedroom and it's sort of half done and it's been half done for a little while, probably over a year or more. So I haven't, I've ticked off some of the things, but not all of them. So what is your thoughts on, is it time to start a brand new one from where I am now? Or do I add to the one that's not fulfilled its my expectations?
See, that's a good point, because here is the trick and here is the challenge, I guess, because what you had on your first vision board that hasn't come to pass, you might be thinking, well, I've had this lovely house on there. I've had this, nothing's happened. So maybe I'll just scrub the board and do another one. How do we know that you are not just about to land into your next big vision, but the universe says, we're just about ready. And you go, no, don't want it. No, scrubbed it. Oh, okay. And the universe steps back and says, well, I can't help you because, all right, what have you got on next? What's the next thing? And you'll put on your next item or items, whatever they may be, and you'll start working, the universe will start working towards that. And that's why, and I'm only speaking through my experience, guys, in the sense that I didn't have dates when this would happen. When I put my penthouse picture up on my vision board, from the day that was August 2009, and I moved into my apartment on the 16th of April 2014. So that was 5 years, just under 5 years. But I didn't put on the vision board.
I'll leave my cottage up. I'll leave my cottage up on my vision board.
Sure. Yeah, that's right. If you want to. But the good thing is, but hypothetically, let's use the other side of the equation. Let's say that halfway through, you ticking off all of your dreams, you might one day you think, you know what, I've got a beautiful little cottage on there, but I don't think I want that anymore. I think I'd like a nice apartment in London. Good. Put a new vision board or change the photo, and your energy and the universe's energy will be focused towards that. But again, don't worry about when, how, or even if it will manifest. It will come to pass in time. And the same applies for when you write your lists out, because I'm very big on writing out a list to the universe. I call it my list writing, and I teach people how to write your list to correlate with your vision board. So what you've got on your board, put that in writing as well. Because when we take the time to write down our visions and our dreams, on paper, put them in a little vision book. I always say to people that, and this is the way I've been taught over the years myself, all teachers need a teacher. I've been taught that what happens is that's the same as going into a contract with the universe. You're going into a written contract. A lot of people say, oh, Dave, that sounds good, but I've got all my dreams and visions up here. I know exactly what I want. Now, I'm not inferring and saying that that will never come to pass. So I know people manifest things like that. But there's something magical about when you take the time to put pen to paper or put picture to board or do both. Because to me, I think, well, look, why not add fuel to the fire and do as much as you can that's going to really bring that energy in and the magic in? Because when it starts to unfold, it is crazy. Hey, did you see what happened on my Facebook the other day? The picture, oh my God, you should go back and have a look at my Facebook. It was about 2 weeks ago. A friend of mine sent me, she came to one of my manifestation classes last year. I won't tell you her name because I'll keep it private, but she came to one of my manifestation classes last year, and I helped her structure her lists and her vision board. And that was probably, I think that was about October last year. Guess what? She just won the lottery.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I did see that actually.
Yes. Yeah. Well, everything, she won the Sunshine Coast Lottery, which included a car, gold bullion, $111,000 in cash, overseas holidays, whole kit caboodle. Everything she had written down was on that list. And so that's why I say to people, don't worry or don't overthink about how this is going to come to you. It will come to you in some way. But again, I'd like to also reiterate, this doesn't always and only apply to material things. You might wish to manifest a new relationship, a new job, a new business. It doesn't have to be something material. Manifestation can be many things. But it's important to realize that we've got to work with our vibration and bring it up. There. Oh, thanks, Jeffro. There you go. And oh no, that wasn't the story. Not that one.
No, it's what you're going to be manifesting.
That's the one I'm manifesting. Jeff's just put up a story, guys, and says Bernie man wins $30 million. Well, I've just moved to Bernie, so I put a little joke up about it the other day. So this guy apparently only lives up the road from me. So and I said, everyone's saying, "Oh, Dave, it's getting closer. It's getting closer." I said, "Yeah, I know. I just love it." Yeah. So, and that photo there, that I love that photo. My sister took that photo, and you'll never believe when that was. That was at daybreak on the morning of my 60th birthday.
Really?
Yep, down at Mum's place at Coffs Harbour. Isn't it gorgeous?
It's beautiful.
Just beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was. She's a professional photographer, and that was just the other day. But there's some of the shows. It's Peter Williams, my good mate Peter Williams. Peter is one of the top mediums in Australia. Have you met Peter, Jeff?
I can't say I have actually.
Wow. Peter is, for those of you that may have heard of John Edward, who's one of the world's top psychic mediums. He's in America. Yeah. Well, I'm certainly not. Impugning John's work in any way, shape, or form. But let me tell you, Peter is one of the finest and most accurate mediums I've ever experienced in my life. And as you can see in that photo, Peter and I have done lots of shows together over the years down at the Currumbinara Cell Club. Yeah, good old Currumbinara Cell. We'd always have around somewhere between 250, 300 people come along, and my God, we work well together. We love to, razz the crowds up and give them some fun. And it's interesting for people to see how I read a flower anonymously and using psychometry and getting all the messages from spirit my way. And then Peter comes on and brings in your dear departed loved ones who've passed over and bring them through. So it's just beautiful. And particularly to see two men working together is, it's quite a rare thing to see in this work.
Yeah. Fabulous.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
But now, darling, coming back to your question about how often we should do a vision board. There really is no specific time frame on how long it should be, and it's not like universe says, well, give it 2 years, and if things haven't worked out, throw it out and do another one. It's like the universe says, look, we're bloody busy, we've got a lot on our plate, we can't bring everything to everyone, so you missed out. It doesn't work like that. No, it doesn't work like that. But I just say to people, just how you feel. One day you might think, oh, you know what? I think I'll just throw the vision board away and start off afresh. Well, you can do that. There's no rules to this. But just remember, what you put out to the universe is what you are going to attract at some stage, and you don't know through what means or through whom or when or why or what have you. And that's part of the mystery and magic of it. That's what I really love, you know. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So
Wow.
my gosh, there's just so many lovely you know, experiences and stories. And I must tell you that we're changing the subject entirely. This comes back to my, you know, psychic connections and what have you. The universe, or we call it the spirit world, they always have our back. They always have our back. And you will not believe what happened to me last Sunday week. I haven't put this out in public.
I'm sure I would.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is just incredible. It was last Sunday week. It was 5:30 in the morning. I'd only just woken up. I don't normally wake that early, but I'd woken up and I was a bit sort of restless. And I thought, oh, look, I'll get up and make some tea and have egg on toast. And I got up and did all that. And it must have been about 6 o'clock. And I was just sitting down to have my brekkie, and you wouldn't believe it, but my ex-wife tried to ring me. Now, my ex-wife and I are great friends, and we often have a chat. But I thought, why is she ringing me at 6 o'clock in the morning? This is ridiculous. But I answered the phone. I was worried because I thought, my God, something's happened to her dad. And I said, hi, honey, are you okay? There was nothing. This is nothing. I said, hello. And the call was live. And I said, hello. I thought, oh, that's weird. Okay. And I pressed stop. The phone rings again, second time. Answered the phone. Darling, are you there? Are you? Hello? Nothing. There was just nothing. But the call was live. And sometimes, you know, when people bum dial people, they call them accidentally. Nothing like that. So I was a bit worried. So I thought I'll ring Lisa back. I rang her back and the phone rang out. She answered the phone. She says, hello. I said, honey, are you okay? You've just tried to ring me. She said, I haven't tried to ring you. I'm in a dead sleep. You woke me up. Your phone call woke me up. I said, well, honey, your phone just rang me twice. It called me twice. She said, that's impossible. I'm in a deep sleep. She said, oh, your phone call woke me up. And she said, and you know what's really weird? I said, what? When I go to sleep at night, my phone is always on silent. This is the first time I've forgotten to switch my phone off, and it's woken me up. I said, I'm so sorry. I have no explanation. I don't know what's happened, but your phone tried to ring me, or you tried to ring me. I said, go back to sleep. We'll catch up later. So that was fine. I thought, gee, that's really weird. Now, that was around 6 o'clock. At 8 o'clock, I had my brekkie. I thought, I'm still feeling a little bit sort of weary, a bit tired. I thought I'll go and have 40 winks down, just go to bed for a little while, have a little bit of a nod. Then I'll get up, have a shower and get dressed. I was meeting some friends down on the beach for lunch. I went to bed. Within 5 minutes, I'd fallen into that zone of half asleep and half awake, and you would not believe it. One of my very dear friends who passed away last year, suddenly at the age of 57, appeared in my room. He is as clear as you guys are. I was in such shock. I said, Paul. Now, you know what the crazy thing is? Paul is the man who introduced Lisa and I 40 years ago.
Really?
Now, Lisa and Paul were like brother and sister, and Paul's eldest brother is my best mate, Glenn. Now, Glenn and his wife, Joanne, live in Canberra, and Glenn and I speak probably once a week. We've been best friends for 40 years. Best man at each other's wedding. We're just like brothers. And I said, Paul, what do you do? Oh my God. And then telepathically, he said to me, he was glowing. He looked fabulous. He looked so young. And he just said to me, telepathically, he just said two things. He said, he will be fine. He will be fine. And I am here. That's all he said. And then he was gone. I said, Paul, who's going to be fine? What are you talking about? And I got out of bed and I was just buzzing. The hair is standing up my arms. I thought, Paul was here. Oh my God, Paul was just here. And he said, he'll be fine. At 10:30, I texted Glenn, my best mate, his brother. I texted Glenn. I said, Glenn, mate, when you're up and about, can you please call me? I really need to talk to you, but it's not urgent, but I really need to talk to you. Didn't hear from him all day. And I called Lisa in the afternoon, told her what had happened. She was completely blown away that her bestie had come in to me and given me the message. And she said, have you spoken to Glenn? And I said, no, I'm waiting for him to call. Oh, she said, let me know how you get on. Now, Glenn rang me on Friday, the following night, on the Monday night at 8 o'clock. He said, oh, hi, mate, I'm so sorry I couldn't get to you yesterday. Is everything all right? I said, mate, everything's fine. I said, I just don't know how to tell you this. But I said, look, because he knows what I do for a living. I said, are you open to receive a message from the spirit world? He said, oh, of course I am. But who from and what is it? I said, mate, you won't believe this. And I walked him through the story that his brother had come into the room and I said, Paul, he just said to me, he'll be fine. Glenn just broke down in tears and just cried. I said, mate, oh my God, are you okay? And he just said, mate, yesterday morning I was out walking with Joanne around our property, and he said, I had a major seizure and I was rushed to Canberra Hospital.
Wow.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
So his brother came in 2 hours before it happened and told me he'll be fine. And that's what it was. So amazing.
That's incredible. Mm. Oop. Yeah, incredible. What a story. My gosh. You can't hear me. David, are you? Well, there was a blip. David was sharing a story. There was a blip, and now he's blipped off.
Well, you can do the audio. You can ring on your phone, or you can
yeah. Well, maybe we're coming to a close.
Okay.
Yeah. So
let him ring David, and then we'll put him on audio.
Yeah, so we've
I've got airport mode. Hang on a sec. Sorry. I have to turn it off audio.
Time to wind it up now anyway, I think.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, everybody can hear you, so it's okay. It's audio. I just had it on airport mode, so I had to take it off.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Can they hear me now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay, right. Do you want me to go back on camera?
Your call, or we can just wind it up, whatever you feel comfortable with.
Okay, well, I'll see if we can go on just so that I can wind it up. I'd like to say goodbye to everyone if we can. So
Okay, let's do that then. Okay.
Thanks, mate. So.
All right. There you go.
Oh dear. Right. That's what happened. There was a beep and then he disappeared. Oh, hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Honey, I'm a psychic, and I'll always appear with the pool. Oh, then I'll tell you what, you won't forget this night in a hurry, will you?
There was one quick question, and Andrew asked, did you have a favorite flower?
Yes, the gerbera.
Oh, that's mine. I love the gerberas too.
Yep. Anyway. I love gerberas because they are tall, resolute, strong, vibrant, and colourful, and they are not afraid to stand in their own power and exude this beautiful sense of colour and power. It's just magnificent. They're lovely.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Well, I think we've come.
I think we better get out while we can.
Yeah. So thank you for coming on the show. It's been an absolute delight, and you've brought a lot of fun and laughter and sending out on the airwaves. So
thank you.
Yeah, it's been an absolute delight. So
darling, thank you, and thank you, Jeffro, and thank you to all of all of our wonderful friends out there tonight and today, wherever you are in the world. Thank you all for taking the time to tune in, and thank you for your patience if you've endured the little technological glitches along the way. My laptop packed it up about just less than an hour before I came on, so that's why this is being beamed from my phone, and my laptop is only 4 months old, so Lord knows what's going on with that. And I just said to Jeff, I've got an apple, but it's quickly turned into a lemon. So anyway, never mind. But look, it's been an absolute pleasure, guys, and thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for inviting me on tonight. I've had so much fun.
All right, and let us know when your forthcoming courses are. Send it in a private message.
I will. Yep, thank you.
I'll share that as well. So
thank you so much. I'd appreciate that greatly. Whoever jumps on and does some workshops with me, you're in for a fun ride. It's going to be fun. I always say to people, when we're having fun, we're laughing, we're learning, because when you're listening, you're learning, and it's a nice way to do it rather than just be boring, banal and boring. I like it to be a little bit of fun. So yeah, it should be good. And
it should be fun with a capital F.
It will be, honey. I always say to people, Andrena, do you know what? I'm taking the good life for a test drive, and geez, it handles well. I think I'll buy it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well,
love and hugs to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Thank you,
brother. We'll catch up
everybody,
soon.
Yeah.
All right, Dave. Thanks.
Yeah.
See you
Thank
later.
you, everybody, for listening to Dreaming the New Dream, and same time, same place next week. And have a lovely